Mm, wow.
Good morning.
Hi, Laura. I can't hear you, so are you unmuted?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Let's say
No
something. Yeah, I can turn my volume up and
Is that
say something now.
any better?
Yes, that's a bit better. Cool. Hi.
Hello. It's very rare that I would kind of reach out and can you hear me okay?
Perfect right now.
That I would kind of reach out and ask for help, but I've been in some really intense mental pain the last few days, and it's having, a big impact on my body. And yeah.
I love that you asked. You just spoke about how it's been. How is it at this moment? Just as gently as you can, just describe this moment.
I'm feeling the body in a more real way than I have been.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, what do you notice? So, okay, so when you say you're feeling the body, you're feeling sensations that you call in the body. So there's some, from how I feel it, there's some excitement or some movement.
yeah, I know the question you're asking, and it actually feels fine.
In this moment, it's fine. So you reach and you were met.
Yeah, I feel like I can breathe again.
Yeah, fantastic. And enjoy that. Just watch your thoughts come like, I should be able to do it on my own or any of that. But you did this on your own, you reached for help. Just releasing happening, just let it release. It knows what to do, you don't have to interfere.
It's just been so surprising, like it's just come out of nowhere
And left out of nowhere. So we can be busy with what happened, or we can just be exploring, meeting beautifully. So what makes the most sense to you at this moment?
yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah. But in a way, when we talk about meeting this moment beautifully, what we're really speaking about is meeting the sensations of now, because that's all anyone ever has. What I am to you in this moment is a sensation. What the universe is to you in this moment is a sensation. What the body is in this moment is a sensation.
So where do the thoughts come from?
And I can tell you how I see it, and you can just see if it resonates with your experience and with your knowing, you would say it like that. So it doesn't take much that something in our system contracts, and like like in the moment, in an instant, there's a sense that there's something wrong, and maybe something wrong with us or something wrong somewhere. And then our thinking tries to help, and it ramps up. It wants to try and remember something that it heard from somewhere, or practice something, wants to, yeah. And it tends to then spiral and just, yeah. So when it asks for help, and this, you could say, it gets met with no trying to fix or change or doing anything, just presence, it can rest. And then, of course, the spiraling stops and all as well. And it's like, what was that? I think all of us have had experiences where an activation happened. And in the moment of activation, especially if it touched an old pocket of traumatic information, it's experienced as if our survival is threatened. And so the system really is trying everything it can to get away from that. You know, you've heard me talk about it. It's like, you walk into a room and it looks like there's a snake, and you turn the light on and you see it's a rope. You see there's no actual existential danger at all. Do you have to then work on your fear of snakes, or you just kind of laugh that your system saw a snake when there wasn't one? We don't have the capacity of skin-to-skin contact, but if I was physically in your presence, I would offer you my hand just to get a sense of touch. And if that feels appropriate to you, you can just imagine it. Just imagine that either our knees are touching or that we're holding hands, and just get a sense of that. Or you can imagine just a hug, whatever. It's just like that sense of skin-to-skin contact, because that's the first language, actually. Yeah? In a way, my presence is touching you, but you can use that additional. Just very gently notice if there's any residue that goes in the direction of there must be something wrong with me that it can happen like that so quickly and stuff. So if there's any remnant of that thought form. And without good or bad or right or wrong, just in your own sense of it. The way meeting is happening in this moment, is it adult to adult? Is it a younger organization meeting, an older organization? Just what's your sense of it? Without any judgment, without any, just how do you sense it?
I think it's both.
Okay. It can easily be both.
There's obviously definitely a young one that's in quite a lot of fear at the moment that needed some support, and at the same time I can sense, equality and a more mature movement as well.
Fantastic. So both are there. Yeah? And so it's beautiful that you acknowledge that younger organization. Just, okay, welcome here. But it's included, it's welcome. Yeah? It doesn't have to be banished or sent away. It's welcome. And there's the mature.
I mean, I certainly prefer the more mature kind of sameness interaction.
Yeah.
That that it's really important to not just use that to avoid the one that's struggling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, maybe it's okay to get caught up in the moment now, and that would assist the younger one. I don't
So what we're calling that younger one, how would you describe the signals that younger one gives? Just so we, again, without any judgment, right or wrong or good or bad, just.
It's just like a wanting to be taken away, like, very get me out of this, take me out of this.
Take me out of this. Okay, so that's its signals, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, again, there's a older one that can kind of see that, so it's not fully surrendered.
Identified with it. Exactly, yeah. But so we're just acknowledging that's like part of the strand or part of the thread at the moment, yeah. So the moment we acknowledge it and speak it, what happens?
Well, it's just kind of like, it would love it if you would take it away, but it's kind of it knows it doesn't work like that. But it would like pay money for it to be taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does it feel to speak it and acknowledge it?
It's a little bit scary, because it's scary how much how much I would give to have that taken away, and
yeah,
that's not a mature place to be. That's a vulnerable position to be in.
I get it, and so my question is just like acknowledging that, seeing it. It's not wrong, it's not bad, but it would be the basis of jumping over yourself, of giving it, how could I say, giving yourself away.
Yeah.
And would definitely have repercussions. I could say it like that. It wouldn't be healthy for you. Yeah. And so it's beautiful to acknowledge it and just see it. Okay, wow. And just for fun, and maybe you see something and maybe you don't. If you look at your mom's relating pattern with your dad, was anything of that in there, or vice versa with your dad, with your mom?
I mean, kind of typical relating, not very healthy, and.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
but not, yeah, I mean, yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, I get it. And just getting a sense if your system has taken this opportunity to also explore meeting and how it meets itself and how it meets the moment, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I find there's quite a lot. I'm not overly clear on it to maybe speak it, but it might help just trying. There's quite a lot of confusion around going back to what we were saying about that vulnerability, where, you know, in a way it would give anything to have somebody take the suffering away, and so that leaves you vulnerable. And, you know, maybe years ago there would have been a lot of other ways I would have had that need met, but I know that when it's coming from that place and it's not met, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so that kind of has fed an even stronger sense of being alone, because there isn't really anywhere that's safe to go. And maybe that's a good thing, because it knows it can only do it itself.
And does it feel safe now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But it's just that another layer of out there not being helpful anymore, because where it was coming from before wasn't actually.
Yeah, if it would have gone into relationship to be saved or something like that, it would have attracted a masculine that would want to save you or fix you
or anybody, even like friends that I used to talk to who, you know, the way you would feed each other, because and even that I can't do that now, because I know it's not really. So then there's the loss of that, and then the deeper aloneness, you know.
And so in that aloneness, you know, because aloneness also is all oneness.
Yeah, I know, but when you're
so, but now just coming to this moment, is there suffering now, Laura? Or how is it meeting itself in this moment?
Through you or through me, or I guess it's the same.
Same thing, yeah.
I suppose then the question is, doing this by myself.
You are by yourself right now. Not to project into the future, just this moment, love. How's it meeting itself now? Without any judgment, just taking the time to, I mean, I love how honest and vulnerable you're exploring right now. So you're just looking in this moment and seeing. You've spoken it very clearly that, you know, just now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's okay not to be sure. Spoke very clearly about how that young organization would give itself away to be rescued. And so whatever remnants there are of that, just noticing them, just how does that play energetically? What's just without right or wrong, without good or bad, just seeing an opportunity just to feel how the system does that. It's not. And he also spoke about that there's also that mature being that's noticing and watching this all. That has an interest to stand on its own feet. And
yeah, I mean, at the same time, there's been such a what's the word? Ruthlessness in me in the last couple of years of like, just if it doesn't feel right, then I don't want to know kind of thing. And so a lot of things has been wiped out in that.
yes, I'm just coming back to this moment again, right here.
Experiencing that when we're sitting, the fear of that, more of that happening as we're.
Okay, so that came on the screen, the fear of that. And coming back to here, just exploring, how can we use these moments in the learning of meeting authentically that feels clear and congruent signals. So we're just taking that. Yeah. I'm not looking to be saved, but noticing where any remnant of that looking to be saved is there, and going, look, actually, I'm interested in exploring sovereignty, being here, and learning that, you could say, just using this moment as that opportunity, not projecting it to any future moment, just here now.
Yeah, it's just that sense of those things not serving me, just falling away, whereas I've been in fear of that the last few days.
Yeah. And that fear is trying to protect you, but actually, it's like then you can work on the fear, or you can actually just explore. Wow, what would be? How could it meet itself here beautifully?
I don't know if
You
you've
know,
frozen.
yeah, it's a bit frozen at the moment, but I can still hear you.
Okay,
And okay, now it's moving again.
a bit like me.
Mhm. Yeah, that's just a sign, you know, that we're dealing with early trauma, basically, or old trauma. So going slowly, going gently, just using, like there's an interest to learn something new, yeah? Now, and now, and now, just like that. You know, and once we're in the learning process, we can't push it. It's gentle. It's, you know, it's exploring. It's just like, and it'll only do that if it feels safe.
Yeah, there was a moment arising that this is exactly what it needs, but it's taking so.
Your picture's frozen, but I can see other people's pictures are moving still. So. Can you hear me still? No, you moved again. You were frozen there for a moment on my screen. Yeah. You know, that thing of I was taking too long, just noticing that's just a thought.
Yeah, because it
If
feels
it
like
may,
it has to go so slow.
let it go slowly, baby steps. Just for your own, might be useful for your own process. Just let's go to gallery view for a moment. Just check in with the community if anybody's getting value out of this exploration. Just to recognize, Laura, this isn't just for you, this is useful. Okay. So coming back, so you can see this idea of going slow, go even slower. Take all the pressure off, if possible. Just at this moment, do you have a sense of needing to be saved or suffering that needs to be taken away, or is it not there anymore? Now there's just exploring.
Yeah, just a sense of like, yeah, really needing to slow down
And how beautiful to give that. Feels like your system's getting more gentle with itself, you know, in a lovely way. To me, I don't know how it feels to you, but
it's just taking a moment to take in seeing everybody and that opportunity is there and that people are there. And yeah, this opportunity, it's so rare, you know, in our lives, and it's the only interest I have,
Yeah.
which you know, mm.
Thanks for asking for help. Thanks for taking some moments to explore. Just, it's like this is not something that somebody can teach you or tell you how. It's something that's like learning to ride a bike, that you just explore in your own timing, your own sensing. Oh yeah, this is starting to feel more like a sovereign, like standing on my own feet. This is more still looking for someone to rescue me, and going backwards and forwards and just making subtle distinctions, like it's a learning process.
Yeah, it's so subtle and it's so precious to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I just feel so grateful to you and everybody for having this time.
It's also, it's also great for me, just to see how the system is getting clearer in its invitation, and just resting and not going into teaching or jumping over. There's so many subtle movements that can happen. I'm grateful for this opportunity too.
If I could come through, I'd give you a big hug.
I'll receive it. Thank you, Laura.
See you soon.
Do this.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Judith.
This subject is very touching for me because there's the same dynamic here. When I came to the meeting, I actually wanted to bring in the biggest threat is coming to stand on alone. And what I feel is at the moment that I am not free in being able to take decisions. And the threat of having to start all over seems so huge. And in finding a place to live, in earning my own money and coming on age now, so that's also threatening about how can I even find work, all these things.
Yeah. So I see the direction that your system is exploring in. May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
So,
I just feel they're so helpless, and in that there is a helplessness here underneath, and an overwhelm that it is too much and that I can't. The fear is that I will drown in there, that I can't get it together. Yeah. So there is all these feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
All of those thoughts, feelings, old information appearing in awareness.
Yes, I feel awareness here as well.
There's awareness.
Yeah.
So all those movements are the movements where we've sold ourselves, and you could say given ourselves away, and
and that's not happening anymore. That's why also it is threatening what it means for the relative.
Yes. So moved into begging for crumbs. Okay. So now something is maturing.
Yeah.
And
I feel that it is maturing. I really feel it.
Yeah. So but then what happens in that, because that maturing is, you see, it's exactly the opposite. It's like if I had to speak what the interest is here is to meet sovereignly, to meet
Yeah,
the feminine.
me as well.
Yeah. So to me, it's not that of being on my own. It's like learning to dance with the masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a different context than I first have to learn how to manage this all by myself.
It would be nice if I could indeed, and that is happening. The maturing is happening. I feel standing in that sense in sovereignty.
Yeah. So just making that distinction. The interest is learning how to dance with the masculine in you could say in where it's not, it's see, as soon as it goes into begging, it's going to go into fighting, it's going to go into all other kinds of dynamics.
Yeah, there came so much more rest in that it is not so.
Cool.
The fullness in itself has matured.
Yeah.
And I can better leave Martin in his way instead of judging or
all of that stuff.
All of that stuff.
Yeah. So because
based
that's where,
on a discomfort underneath.
Yeah, that's where it goes into. That's where it goes into a fight. So now the interest is to learn to dance with the masculine in this moment. So, here's a masculine, and you can explore without anybody telling you what to do. So, you just here, and if it feels safe, to play. So that's that's so maybe the way I'm inviting you is clumsy or doesn't fit for in some way, but whatever, so you can feed back to me and tell me, look, it feels good or it doesn't feel good. So we're just playing, learning.
Yeah, in this moment, I feel the sovereignty in myself.
Yeah, fantastic.
There's just more available, being available and here.
Cool. Now it's just like exploring the subtleties, where it really goes into a dance. Okay. The sovereignty isn't pushing away in any shape or form. It's like it's finding a way to really dance. The heart dance, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
How is it to explore in the context of dancing?
It's very nice.
Cool. And what happens to all those ideas of having to do it on my own? And
Yeah, that is, there's something that wants to go there and is not
Yeah.
going there.
Yeah.
But there is also something, I mean, but yes, you know, like, yeah, shouldn't I move through the helplessness or the fear that is there, or how?
Are you interested? Are you interested in living alone or learning
No.
to dance with the masculine
You
in a
know,
beautiful
that's
way?
the same. I have lived on my own for
I
a
get it. So
long time.
that's why I'm just
I
refining
have
it.
lived.
What's the
this-
interest?
Yeah, that's so. I've done that, been there. I've lived in community, done that, been
Now,
there. I
what's
lived
the interest in this moment, Judith?
Household.
Learning to
But then
dance with the masculine. Okay, cool.
dance with the masculine.
Okay, cool. This feels like fun to me. It feels it's enlivening. It's like, not having to deal with helplessness, and because that to me is a confusion. Actually, it's in the way of exploring dancing.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually fear for the future. Now there comes a curiosity. So from what is that man in front of me?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And it's, it's like, wow. And it's like taking it out of even individuality. It's like really learning this dance, like I think men and women, people in a sense, love to actually learn how to really dance together. And most of us didn't have great models.
No.
It's like, so how do we find safe places to explore and to learn and to, but really no teacher, no student, nobody, no experts, just our own, using that fineness of exploring, just to feel it.
And the beauty is, and the feminine is in its fullness. It's just here and available. It doesn't need to do anything.
It's not a doing,
It's just really, present here. And enjoying in there.
Tonight's theme seems to be dancing. I think Hafiz would approve.
A little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. That's.
Yeah, sure.
And actually, there it is, the sovereignty and standing on your feet.
And it happens in the context of the dancing, and not like pushing away the different learning.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Isaac, for pointing this.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful.
Very cool. Yeah. It was interesting, like yesterday I was looking on Facebook and there were these facilitators offering an event of exploring our deepest yearning, and so something resonated for me. Just let me go out and, not be the facilitator, be facilitated, so to speak, and be in a new community of people, just see what learning can happen in that context. And so it was beautifully done too, and yet I could see there were some things that there, like at least from my perspective, had to do with using will to try and create new pathways, rather than the context of learning. So, yeah, beautiful. I was grateful I went.
It's nice, Isaac, that you say that, because that's actually the beauty of this field, that it moves in such a direction of gentle exploring, which is actually also part of the feminine. So it's so beautiful both to experience here. Yeah.
Yeah, in my view, there is, it was beautiful because, we, like the way they set that up in that environment was like, at first all the women sat in an inner circle, and the men sat outside just holding space for the woman. And then the woman had a chance, each woman had a chance to speak her yearning in relating to the masculine. And it was beautiful just to hear how these women expressed. And then afterwards, the men went into the center circle, and the woman got to hold space and listen to how the men expressed their yearning. And for me, what I could hear I could hear, where there was this the commonality that I could hear in all the yearning was to meet beautifully, actually, the way I hear it. And having all these people have explored and seen how entangled it can get, how codependent it can get, and how how quickly we can give ourselves away and not be authentic. And but then that went on in the direction of what's in the way of you realizing your yearning, and then it kind of got into this. I'm going to take responsibility for and all, and to me that was like, it's a different track than I'm on anyway.
Can you explain a bit more about that responsibility part? That people take responsibility for what?
I would say you described it so beautifully when you were saying, yeah, I have to learn to stand on my own feet, but then fear comes up. Now I have to deal with my fear. And I mean, it's like, rather than look, actually the interest is to learning to dance.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
pointing back.
Yeah, so it goes into the direction of a doing and a changing and a fixing and kind of taking responsibility for unconscious patterns that are not functioning well, rather than, okay, I'm aware that this pattern's playing. I know that they're not me. I know it's old information. And what allows those a learning to happen in which those aren't necessary anymore. Does that make it more clear the way I'm speaking? It's clear in my mind. It's like, hello. Hi.
Hello. Mm. 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 mm, 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 mm,
Want to play and explore, huh? Delicious.
Ah, yeah. Mm. Wow, it was, yeah. Wow, it's it was really like traveling through all these layers of man, woman, how they meet. And I just met all my brothers, all the men with who I was relating with in this meeting with you, and so sweet, gentle, and so beyond all this, yeah, to the core.
Mm.
Something like
Yeah, beyond the entanglements, beyond
that.
the clumsiness of it. You know, it's to me the opportunity of
Mm,
exploring dancing, you could say,
mm,
because we know, it's like from experience, people come together, there's an attraction, and then the
Mm.
patterns start playing. And a
Yeah.
lot of times those patterns are old traumas from generation back, and they, when a trauma pattern gets touched in relating, it
Mm.
can express so violently, because if it goes into fight or can numbness or running away,
Yeah.
the fight, flight, or freeze, it comes up in an instant because it touches such core information.
Yeah.
And so it's like how to explore gently enough that there's safety and we can just get new information, I would say it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. It also feels so like healing.
Yeah.
Like healing this whole field of man, woman connection.
Dynamics, yeah.
dynamics
And patterns. Yeah.
and it's funny because I'm aware of that it's because it's an online meeting, and in a way it feels very safe for my system that it's an online meeting.
Yeah.
And to see that
Yeah.
I even it can open up more because
Yeah.
it's online, so it's safe in a way, you know.
Yeah. You're in your own home, you know. There's
And I can just switch off the computer.
Exactly.
But it's very beautiful, yeah. And that was it really touched me when you said this to you, that like this dancing, and then it was really like, yes, it's yeah, it's grateful to dance with you and with this whole sangha.
Yeah, you know, because it's like, you know, for sure when we get into inquiring in a depth, we're going to touch old traumas, old information, and how can we be safe in that exploring, just holding each other's hands, not going into therapizing each other, or just, okay, we're here, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Kun. Hi, Kun.
Hi, Isaac. There's a lot going on here. So I wanted to rest a bit and maybe to share.
Please, let's rest and then share.
There's confusion about I'm engaged in the Taoistic teaching for about 25 years. I learned a lot there, and I'm practicing a lot. And now there's confusion. Not now, it's already a long time confusion about how you are teaching, learning, how we are sharing, and about about exploring, and about this whole Taoistic alchemical approach, because there are differences, and so how can I deal with these differences? Because I feel attracted to both.
Yes, I get it.
And sometimes it feels, you have to make a choice for one of them. But it's a bit confusing. Yeah. And this is also how I'm sitting in this sangha. Is also, I feel a little bit outsider. And that's also the way how this system survived in life, being an outsider, being observing, literally distracting a bit. Not so easy to share. So that's why I want to express it now. And
on my side, you're sharing beautifully. Honestly, vulnerably. Can you name the differences that you perceive?
Can you repeat?
Can you name the differences that you perceive? And
Yeah, in the Taoistic concept, as I, in general, I can say when the meetings with you is very much from the heart, and the Taoistic approach, the alchemical approach is, in general, you can say we have the three dantians. We have the mind, we have the soul and the heart, and we have the lower dantian, which is connected to the earth. And for the in the Taoistic approach, the body, the belly is connected with the earth, is also the feminine part, which is in a lot of spiritual traditions a bit neglected, because the earth is also connected with the darkness. All the things we have put away in life, which we don't want to see, all our own dark sides, we put in the earth. And first we have to bring it in the light and to make contact with it, and then it can come to the light. And in the Taoistic approach, I tell it a bit clumsy, is the dantian is the point of origin is in the belly, in the dantian, which is the point of everything, of emptiness, of everything. The primordial energy. So that's emptiness and fullness in the meantime. So less connected with the heart and the love, but more connected to the dantian and the belly. And and for example, when you're talking about feminine and masculine, it's also to do with yin and yang, with heaven and earth, these two layers or energies which are playing. And it's an interplay which goes on with this endless, the movement of yin and yang, which is, in fact, you can say that's the Taoistic approach. We are a kind of yin-yang symbol. That's what we are, just moving. I don't know if it's clear what I say.
No, it is. You see, I mean, to me, I don't disagree with that, because to me, it seems like as our systems kind of rest, whatever has been suppressed will show up. It has to, of course, when there's no energy to keep suppressing, then it will come up. And then the question is, once it starts to show up, does it get met with wanting to change it, fixing it, or get rid of it? Or does it get met gently, but at the same time staying with what the interest is? So, it can so easily go into, well, first I have to deal with this before I can rest as who I am, or I can rest as who I am and know that in that resting, when this is invited and acknowledged and seen, it will find its place. So in my sense, it's not ignoring it, it's not pushing it away. It will come, it has to come. Because the moment, like our systems are getting quieter, so to speak, we're not being distracted by all the compensations and addictions, then of course everything will come. But then it's a question of how it gets met, and that's important for me anyway. It's met in a way that allows it, that we're not working on ourselves or working on it or taking it personally, like this is my stuff. All of those, in my view, create further confusion.
Yeah. But in the Taoistic approach, is cultivation is very important. Cultivation means doing, meditating, doing qigong, doing martial arts, all these kind, and then you have, this is, you can say this is the yang component, and then you have the yin aspect that is doing nothing and resting. So, but both are important, and I think what I learn in your field environment is what is really yin, is really resting. This is what I learn with you in this field, and what it brings when you really can rest.
Yeah, because also, you know, that resting, if there isn't that light of awareness, the yang, that clarity, you could say, then of course it's out of balance. So that, for me, that's always the recognition that whatever's coming up is appearing in that, in who we are, and it's not personal. You know, any resistance makes it feel personal, and actually, and then usually it goes into, well, once it, from the perspective of personal, what can I do about it? Rather than that, in it getting met gently as awareness, it does resolve. So I don't know if there's a difference there in the approach, but to me it feels like this. Without that yang, that masculine, I could say that presence, and the resting, they go together, yeah?
Now I feel here relief that I just, for the fact that I had the courage to bring it, because it was such a long time, and beneath that is the fear for being so fun. Oh, you go away because you. It's not what I. It's not that I think that you will do this, but there is a fear for being
pushed out,
pushed away.
No, I love that you bring it, and I really love that you bring it. And from my side, it's you know, whatever somebody finds useful, I welcome it. You know, I don't insist that people go any particular way. I just keep inviting in the moment as I sense what might be useful, and it either resonates or it doesn't. So for me, it's like, I hope I don't present it as there's only one way. It doesn't feel like that to me. Yeah. So we can talk about the masculine and the feminine, but you know, there's also, as that awareness, it's actually beyond that polarity. And but including, and so then there's a way, you know, we could say where awareness rests as awareness with awareness. We can call it the yin or whatever has not yet come into consciousness, has an opportunity then to come, not to be ignored, not to be pushed away, not to be messed with, trying to fix it, change it, or get rid of it, but really just gently met, gently included.
For me, it brought those training, those 25 years of study, and I feel more and more that I don't know not so much.
But how beautiful.
It's,
you know,
the elder I am, the less I know. It's so.
That's the vulnerability. I mean, that's to me, that truly recognizing that we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I learned, I don't know what's the embodiment has grown enormous on this side. Much more connection with my body, and yeah, that makes me feel much more on earth. And
yeah.
And this is important thing in the Taoistic teaching, the embodiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's so easy for misunderstanding to creep in, just in the way we use language. I mean, to me, with how I reference embodiment is that this bodying activity gets included in awareness. It's not pushed away, it's honored. The sensations that we, like if there's some discomfort in the, left in our DNA or whatever you want to call it, where there's carrying old information, when that's included, I would call that embodiment. Yeah, so our attention isn't up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as we rest together, like there's awareness aware of awareness. There's a recognition of I could say where there's a free flow of information, that like the information can just flow. And there's awareness of where there's any habitual contractions or where the system has some old information as my feeling when there's a resting together, all the practice that you've done with the physical and stuff, my body can learn from it, can get that information. There was this guy, so focused on getting enlightened. He was in the high Himalayas and he found a little cave and he had the entrance to the cave bricked up with just a little hole where people could hand him food once a day and his waste. He could pass out. And he spent years there, and eventually some seeing happened and they broke the wall and he came out, and people coming to him and listen, you've spent all these years practicing, and just to recognize the truth, and he said, but actually you already are that you're seeking, you are that already. And they said, how can that be? You spent all these years practicing. And yet you're telling us that in this instant, it's not necessary. And he said, look, here we're at the top of the mountain. In the valley down at the bottom, 2 days walk from here, there's water, a river. Now, one of us can go down to that river and spend 2 days going down and maybe 3 or 4 days coming back up. But when we here, we drink the same water. It doesn't matter who did the effort, actually. Which I found a beautiful way of talking about it. It's just like, yes, you've done all these years of movement and yet, somehow the benefit of that is available to all of us, you could say. Same thing, all the exploring that's happened here is available to everyone just when we sit together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was what I was thinking tomorrow, that the opportunity you give by these Zoom meetings, there is so much suffering around me in the world and everywhere. And people just can log in and sitting and
Peace.
yeah.
And same thing, you go to your classes that you facilitate, and people get the benefit of the exploring that you do in this Sangha. No, I don't have a single doubt about it. I know it for sure. It's like that.
What I want to express, one last thing. Maybe I don't have to give words to it, but I just want to share it. I told it before, I was the youngest of 12 children in a family. And this, I can feel it now, that's why I tell it. Or I realizing that it's this being grown in this system of being the youngest and keeping small the whole life, or making myself small. That now I realize this is now also maybe not in my energy, but it's somewhere it plays in the system. So that's why I want to express it. And
the fact that it's being noticed means it's starting to come into consciousness. Now, as it comes into consciousness, it either moves in the direction of I have to work on this, or there's a knowing that it's self-liberating. It's showing itself. And there'll be, you could say, psychological components, there'll be energetic components, there'll be glandular components, like it's a whole system that your system kind of embodied or learned it, got conditioned that way. And it's too small for you now. It's like you don't have to do anything about it. It's coming into view and gentle with it, and you just, okay, I feel it's like it's not necessary anymore. Just that's it. It means nothing about me. I didn't ask for it. I find myself looking through it now. And I can see its days are over. It's not useful anymore, and it's not necessary. Yeah.
Just by mentioning, give it space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing and for giving this opportunity, and thank you, the Sangha.
Frank.
Hello.
Hi, Frank.
I was touched by some of the things that was spoken about before. But it was a very, I don't know, soft touching, but what shows up in this system at the moment is something like a very deep layer of depression. And I just had the impulse to ask about if there is some information that could also be interchanged with this system. So perhaps it's resting, or I don't know.
So I'll just tell you what I've seen over the years with depression. Another word for depression is a kind of a hopelessness. So, as life is happening, you could say, and there's a noticing of patterns or that play that cause difficulty for us. And very often it moves into kind of like a hope that I can someday deal with this. And of course, like it's making trouble, so we'll try different things. But usually when we try to fix it, change it, or get rid of it, it doesn't work. So, we work really hard. You know how many people are working on themselves and trying to fix, change, or get rid of. And, when it just doesn't work, at some point it goes to the other side. Instead of hope anymore, it goes into hopelessness. It's like no matter what I try, it doesn't work. I'm stuck here forever. It's like, so I don't know if that resonates for you, but it's
yeah, somehow it's like that. And sometimes I also had the feeling when there was, I had the topic of hurt some days ago, and when there were situations when there was like a feeling mix of being hurt and perhaps some anger, and I don't know, perhaps also some hate or something. A very dark feeling mixture of emotions and feelings, and that somehow felt like it was dropping into the system, and then there was the feeling that I cannot cope with it, and perhaps this is the how it was put onto that layer. I don't know, somehow.
So so we could say, and it seems like in many of us, there's this a deep yearning to want to meet beautifully with whatever sex we're attracted to, and have a space where we can walk together and explore together and dance together, however you want to describe that. And yet, for most people, it never really, it always gets entangled, it gets codependent, it gets terribly painful, terrible suffering. But the yearning doesn't go away. We still are yearning for that. So the option is, do I live on my own and give up this, just ignore this yearning? Or can that yearning remain in a way and keep inviting a deep exploring? Like, so we start to see more clearly and start to make distinctions, see the difference between learning to dance together as opposed to working on myself and trying to fix myself so then it'll happen. So it's like when it goes into the direction of there's something wrong with me and I have to fix myself, and the realization it's never going to happen, like, that's depressing.
Oh, wait a second, my bell rang. Just one second.
No way.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. Yeah. I can just speak from my experience, like traveling together with Micah, exploring deeply and finding ways in which our systems have gotten entangled, and really, man, such suffering. But yet there was enough maturity that it didn't project onto each other, it didn't go into, this, like, it didn't project onto each other. It stayed with, okay, what's going on here? How do we bring this to peace, And so, I find myself now where we live in the same home together. She has a part of the house and I have my part. And we have such a, I would say, beautiful cruise and enjoying of each other and honoring and respecting, and it feels free. But it's non-sensual and not sexual, and I miss that. I would love that in my life. But in this circumstance, it would take a very mature woman to be able to step in and kind of be part of a tribe or whatever. I don't know, so it's like, and I look at it and I go, okay, that yearning is there. I don't want to disown it. I don't want to push it away. I honor it. It's beautiful. And either life will work out that feminine will feel attracted to come connect and find out how we can kind of live and explore and enjoy together or not, you know, and it's like somehow it feels like my system isn't suffering behind that yearning anymore. It can honor it, it can be there, can feel available to life for it to happen. And so there's that, you know, there's so many, I can say, fine scenes in it where it could move into suffering. Oh, I'm never going to get what I want, what I truly want. And I can just be so grateful that I can be here and this yearning can be here and not go into suffering. Wow. For me, that's amazing, I could say it like that. So I'm telling the story. I don't know really why it came to my mind. So just like I like to speak what comes through. I don't know why, but
yeah, I guess there was also such situations in my life. So something resonates, I guess.
it was so beautiful to hear the men and women sharing, like the yearning is in everybody. And it really didn't matter whether people were with the partner or not. Some aspects of that yearning remained.
Hmm.
Ultimately, it's this yearning to meet beautifully and to keep deepening in that.
Yes. Now I feel that there is a yearning for, I don't know who it was, but one person before told about like it was going like through different layers and things very gently showing up and yeah, somehow there's the feeling that the system doesn't do that. I don't know if you feel on your side that there's happening something, because it's, yeah, it's like for me, yeah, I don't realize it somehow inside of me, and it also produces another action, like something is not okay with me, something happened to the system, what somehow broke it, or I don't know.
So I see that it can be interpreted in that way, or it can be seen as like in exploring this yearning, it touched really deeply traumatic information. And the system, there's a residue of the system trying to prevent, defend itself against coming into that pain. Which I think many people find themselves in that, it's like the system is trying to protect itself from coming into that pain. And it registers as if there's something broken. And then in the seeing that the system is trying to defend itself, then we can, if we can see that, then we can explore and see, does that defending actually help in any way? What's the cost of it? How does it function? If we see it as there's something broken in me, yeah, exploration stops. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Then in the way it takes it personally, and there's complete identification with it.
yeah,
But if we see that the system is actually compensating, yeah, then we can explore it from a different place. Yeah, different honoring it. Okay, yeah, it's like.
yeah, it's actually compensating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And there's nothing wrong with it. That was an all in. That was how the system survived. So wow, fantastic. But not to get stuck there. Okay. So, yes. I see there's something going on.
from that perspective, life also looks like that I have to survive. It's it's the system, and also, yeah, for me, it's like a fight to survive. It
Yeah.
shows up like this, then.
Yeah, no, for sure. Understand.
So it's not very beautiful.
Well, the beauty is that it's coming into view, and then, you know, like that's when it starts to come into view. It's never very comfortable, you know. But it's actually beginning stages of it integrating. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there was a part inside of me that already knew that.
Yeah.
But also some confusion with other thoughts and.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Isaac.
There's a poem of Hafiz. The subject tonight is love, and the subject every night is love. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Bas, for hosting. Love, peace, beauty.